The 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs have some really glaring weaknesses that we got to discuss going into Super Bowl 58. When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, right? This is a team that offensively, they lack explosiveness. They struggle to generate big plays in the passing game. And the way they move the ball is by being methodical. You know, they just move the chains. They're really good at ball control because you got the run game, which is functioning at a really high level right now with Isaiah Pacheco being the lead back. And Isaiah Pacheco, he's going to be able to take advantage of a very porous San Francisco 49ers run defense. Now, both of these two teams have not good run defenses, but the 49ers run defense is slightly worse than Kansas City's. Kansas City, James Cook, Josh Allen were running all over that defense. Last week, they looked good in the box score against the run because the Ravens didn't care to run the football. They only gave the ball to the running backs 6 times in that game. Against the 49ers, you're going up against a team that their identity, their heart and soul is what? Running the football. So the run defenses of both of these two teams is a really big issue. Who's going to be able to take more advantage of it? Possibly it could be the 49ers. Possibly. But the reason why you can't mark it down as a guarantee that the 49ers are going to be able to run all over Kansas City's porous run defense is because their interior of their offensive line is not good. They have bad center play and they have really bad guard play from one of their 2 old guards. Kansas City, who do they have? Chris Jones, the monster in the middle. You got George Karlaftis. You have a really good rotation of pass rushers and guys who can disrupt the rhythm of this 49ers offense, which is all about getting the ball out quick, throwing with anticipation, using the run to set up the play action passing game. When you're going up against Kansas City, they make it difficult for you to do that with how good they are at getting penetration. Not just with getting after the quarterback, but with also being able to run stuff behind the line of scrimmage. The 49ers offensive guard and center play is a major, major concern. When you got a guy like Chris Jones, who definitely could win MVP in this game, lining up at D tackle, if he just has one of those games when he's just unblockable and he has like 2.5 sacks, it's going to be a major swing for Kansas City being able to get the Super Bowl. You see, the 49ers, their lack of talent at center and offensive guard hasn't really been exploited like that until we've gotten to the playoffs. Aaron Jones, you know, he had a really monstrous day against that 49ers defensive line, but also their defensive line, I felt, for the most part, did a really good job at making Brock Purdy uncomfortable. Now, their run defense was not so great, but you look at what the Lions did. Hell, Christian McCaffrey still had a pretty good game, but for Christian McCaffrey standards, that was a B- performance. The Detroit Lions run defense was really good because they were able to get penetration in the backfield due to the weakness of San Francisco not having good play out of their center and starting offensive guard. Now, something that really concerns me also about the 49ers is that defensively, I don't know how you can trust them in this game against Patrick Mahomes. Look, we know that Kansas City's wide receiver core is not good, but the 49ers, their secondary is heavily overrated. The only way their defense is really good is when their pass rush is able to get after the quarterback, and their pass rush is having a down year. This is the worst that the 49ers pass rush has been in 3 seasons. You went from Robert Saleh to DeMeco Ryans, 2 stud defensive minds, to Steve Wilkes, who isn't bad, but he's a middle-of-the-pack defensive coordinator. And it's pretty evident because you look at the 49ers and all the talent that they have on defense, and you would think that this should be one of the best defenses in the NFL with Arik Armstead, Chase Young, and Nick Bosa, Javon Hargrave, but not all those guys play up to the level of talent that they have. And that's why the 49ers defense struggled against the Detroit Lions and struggled against Jordan Love and the Packers. The 49ers run defense is not great, and neither is Kansas City's. Kansas City, though, they're not a team that really needs to run the football to win games. At least a game like this. They only run the football to keep the defense at bay because you got to be able to be balanced. Complementary football is what wins championships. Kansas City doesn't need to run for 150 rushing yards to win. All they need is for Isaiah Pacheco to get 4 or 5 yards here and there, keep the chains moving, keep the defense guessing, and that's about it. Isaiah Pacheco, he probably should get around 18, 20 carries in this game. He'll probably have around 90 rushing yards and maybe a touchdown or two. But Kansas City isn't a team that really is built to dominate a team like San Francisco up front if San Francisco's defense shows up and they play up to the level of talent that they have. Their defensive line and their effort issues were on full display against the Detroit Lions. You got Chase Young cutting up field, making terrible decisions, taking terrible angles against the run. Like San Francisco's defense, when they don't have that pass rush or that defensive line isn't activated, their defense is really shaky. Now, they got some really good players on the back end, Travarius Ward. They got a pretty decent safety, and we know how great their linebackers are. But when the pass rush isn't there, this defense just isn't the same. Kansas City's offensive line is playing some good football right now. They're not giving up a lot of pressures, not a lot of sacks. Patrick Mahomes is making some magic happen, but these offensive guards that Kansas City has are way better than anything that the 49ers have. So for Kansas City offensively, yeah, you may not have a lot of talent at wide receiver, but that's not necessary in a game like this when you got your offensive line playing at a high level. You have Travis Kelce playing great football. You still got Pacheco and you got Rashee Rice. You have enough talent to work with that you can have success with San Francisco's defense as long as you can continue to play as well as what you have up front on the offensive line. So these are my biggest weaknesses for both the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs heading into Super Bowl 58. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below.